Hey guys, welcome back to Lush Aquas. In today's video, we're going to be making some goat heart mix for my discus here. Now, in this video, I'm going to be showing you the entire process of how I've made the food and also the ingredients I've used. If you're a beginner hobbyist or you've just started keeping discus, I really suggest you should try out making your own food because not because it's going to be cheap actually. That's something most of the people think that, okay, if I make my own food, it's going to come out cheaper. In fact, in my opinion, it actually comes out more expensive because until you make the food in really large quantities, you're not going to be able to save that much cash on the ingredients itself. And if you're going to make such big batches of food and you have a few fish like me, I just have 8 fish, it's going to last for months, and at least I wouldn't want to feed my fish month-old food. Like, you know, it should get over in around a month and then I can make a fresh batch again. Now I'll quickly wear my apron here. It is very important to wear something like that to cover your clothing because it is really messy. Now as we get into the process, you'll see how messy it actually can get. So let's start. These are all the ingredients you're going to need to make the goat heart mix at home, and now I'm going to show you each of them. The first thing you need to add is some green peas. Now green peas is a substitute to spirulina. If you can't find any spirulina around you in any stores, or if it is unavailable, you can surely use green peas. It's like a second substitute to spirulina. You also need to use some cloves of garlic. Now I have taken 3 cloves of garlic here, but most probably I will be using only 1 clove or 1.5 clove. Next up, you're going to be adding some spinach. Now I'm going to be blanching the spinach before adding it. If you want to know what the blanching process is, it's basically you boil water, add it for 30 seconds and then add it to cold water. In that way, it becomes much easier to grind the spinach easily. Next up, we'll be using some shrimp. Now these are the local prawns that you get. You can use the tiny krill as well. I'm going to be using shrimp. Now the only problem with shrimp we face is not all discus eat shrimp. So before adding shrimp, I would suggest you cut a small piece of shrimp and feed it to your fish and see if they accept it. Now mine do, so I have no problem. Also, if you have yellow fish, I wouldn't suggest adding shrimp to your goat heart mix because shrimp will kind of make your fish red. So I wouldn't add shrimp if I was feeding it only to yellow fish. I have all red fish, so it doesn't make a difference. Now this is tilapia fish. If you have yellow fish and you don't want the red color, unnecessary red color, I would suggest you avoid shrimp and avoid spirulina because both of them will give a reddish tint to your yellow fish. Instead, you can use tilapia. Now it's just a little that I've taken here because I bought a really small fish and I filleted it out to just show you. I've got this bottle of multivitamins from my pharmacy. It's easily available. I'm just going to be using 1 capsule of this in some water and just add it to the mixture of my goat heart mix. For binding, I'm going to be using some Vibrobites. You can use any fish food. Any fish food works well. I choose Hikari because I like the quality of Hikari, but any fish food will work for this. Now coming to the main ingredient of this food. Now you can use beef heart mix. The recipe almost stays the same. The only problem we face in India is we don't really get cow beef in India. Most of it is water buffalo. And water buffalo, the fat content in water buffalo is very high. So when you actually go out and buy some water buffalo and cut it down, you end up wasting a lot more than you end up wasting in a goat heart. But for the trouble you're going to take at home, or if you are making a heart mix at home, I would strongly suggest that you go for goat heart because even if you see here, this is how the goat heart looks, when you get it. And once you cut it, this is how it looks. Basically, I've cut this here and you need to remove all this white fatty part of it. And this is how much it goes to waste. So 1 heart, this is 1 heart. If you slice it into half, it becomes this piece, and then you need to remove all this, and this is what we're left with, just the meat, and this is what we need. Once it's sliced properly, you can remove all the arteries, all the veins. You can see how clean this looks. Now I have to remove this part. If you see, I've missed out a little here. This is what I'm talking about. You need to remove all this. Once this is done, we're all ready to add it to the blender. Now I'm using a strong blender in this case. I'd suggest you use a really good food processor for this process because the meat is a little tougher, and if you're using a cheap mixer at home, it might burn out the mixer. So just be careful of that. So now I'm going to tell you how to cut the goat heart. So when you buy a goat heart from the store, it will be something like this. it'll be a full heart, and you need to cut it in the center, and then you can split it into two. Now it's something like this. You will get inside is the meat, and you will find some arteries that you need to remove. So all this you need to remove out. It's something that is the waste product of it. You need to remove this white part. That's the fat of the goat. Now I would suggest you use a very sharp knife, so you can just hold it like that, and if the knife is sharp enough, you don't need to work too much. You can just hold the meat, and you see how easily it's getting removed out. That is how you remove all the fat. Now if you're going to be pulling it out, see, it takes that much strength, but if your knife is sharp, you can just cut it out very easily. You can see how it's happening. So I'd suggest you sharpen your knife. Use a very sharp knife for this, and once that is done, you can throw away this part. Now this part is going to be all the fat that we need to chuck out. So finally we are done chopping up the goat heart. Now this is what we will be using to make the mix. I've also gone ahead and blanched my spinach and added the multivitamin to some water, so it's easy to mix to the mixture. And now it's time, we need to add all this to this cup and start blending it. After I've added the goat heart mix to this Ziploc bag, I'm just going to press it down so it makes an even layer. And once it's done, and once you get this thin layer, you can just freeze this. Now the reason we make this thin layer is so you can easily break off a piece while feeding. This is going to be frozen, so now this needs to go into the freezer. Now after you freeze your mixture, this is something what you'll end up with. It gets rock hard. Now I've broken a small piece here to show you, and this is why I asked you to, keep it a really thin layer, because you can break it off with your hand. Now this is what I would be feeding my discus. I would really like to thaw the meat before feeding it directly to my discus, and then directly add it to my, after it's thaw, I could directly add it to my tank, and they would readily accept it. Another thing I'd like to tell you is, if you choose to make this goat heart mix and you add it to the tank, and for some reason the fish don't eat it in the first time, don't get really scared thinking your fish aren't eating and go ahead and add medicines to the tank. Discus are finicky eaters. Sometimes when you change their diet a little, they will stop eating. Just give them a day or two, keep them a little hungry, and they should be taking this food readily. This won't happen to a lot of you guys. It does happen though. I have seen discus who don't eat a certain type of food at all, like certain frozen food at all, and would only stick to dry food, or sometimes the discus only eats dry food and doesn't eat frozen food at all. So it is all about how, from where you've got the discus, what was the source, what was the breeder or raiser feeding it before you. But slowly you can get it accustomed to eating this food as well, and because this is a homemade food, you would be benefiting in the sense that you would be doing a good quality check to check that all the ingredients going in this food are super premium and nice, and you could give your fish the best you can. If you ask me, would I regularly make this discus food at home? To be honest, I wouldn't. For the effort it takes and for the money it would cost to keep making this food in small batches, I'd rather go out and get a good quality premium frozen food that is available right now in the market. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and also comment down below if you actually ended up making this food and how your fish reacted to it. Don't also forget to check out our other videos. We have a lot of videos on discus and a lot of videos coming up, so subscribe and bye bye.